Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be making stewed peas with pigtail and also beef. So it's a 2-meat stewed peas. I added 3 cups of red kidney beans. You can add more based on the size family that you're cooking for. But before I did anything else, I actually put on my white rice. Just a quick tip, never make stewed peas with rice and peas. That's just against the law. It has to be done with white rice. So I added it's usually a 1-to-2 ratio with my rice and water. However, this is parboiled / brown rice, so I did a 1-to-3 ratio where the water is concerned. So here I actually had to ask Bae to cut the pigtails for me because pigtail is extremely hard to cut, and I personally think it can also damage your knife. So guys, if you're at the butcher, please ask them to cut it for you. They have the machinery to do so. It can also hurt your hand. I mean, it was extremely painful for me, and I mean, he got it done and I appreciate it, but I can only imagine how uncomfortable it was. So he's gonna chop all the meats for me, including the beef. Then we're gonna strip away all the fat. Not so much for the pigtail because that's one of the things that make pigtail and stewed peas so delicious, but I still don't like excess fat. So after he did this, I went in and I did cut the excess fat off some of the meat. Now that he's done, I'm gonna wash my meat with vinegar. You can use limes if you do not have vinegar, but please, ladies and gentlemen, wash your meat. It removes the raw smell and taste, especially if you're doing fish, and it removes a lot of the oils and grease just from the overall texture of the meat. Plus, you don't know if the butcher had it on a surface that wasn't necessarily clean. So I'm gonna put it in a pot just to boil for about, I believe it was almost an hour, and then I'm gonna turn it off. So what this does is, once you have it boiling like that, it makes it easier to cook in the peas because the peas is gonna cook a lot sooner than your meat, so you want your meat to be pre-cooked. Here's what my rice is looking like. I did add 2 tablespoons of butter and a pinch of salt. And then after I check on my rice, I'm gonna go ahead and check on my meat. As you can see, it's boiling quite nicely. I did this for almost an hour, but you wanna test your meat along the way as well. It's not gonna be completely cooked, so you wanna give it like half cooked texture. When you test it, just make sure it's half cooked. So I did put 4 cloves of garlic in my red kidney beans along with a tablespoon of salt, and I had that boiling for about 45 minutes. Now I'm gonna just add my meat. Drain off as much water as you can off of the meat. I did add a little bit of water so that the meat flavor could go inside the peas, and this is where our process begins. So I'm gonna add a bit of pimento seeds. Pimento is great for rice and peas, stewed peas. It gives the water a very nice flavor that I love. So I'm gonna let these 2 boil together before I add my other ingredients. Along the way, you wanna just keep adding water, not a lot, just make sure it's covering the meat and peas. So I don't quite remember exactly how long, but I know it was way past an hour that I had this simmering. So guys, just keep testing your meat until it's fully cooked. It's really the meat you have to worry about because the peas cooks automatically once that meat has been in there for a period of time. I added a stalk of Escallion, some of you may call it green onions, and I added a small branch of thyme. These are also things that make your peas very flavorful, so you could just add those and then cover it again and allow it to simmer. After that, we're going to be adding some of our seasonings. So I did add some garlic powder to this. Even though I added cloves of garlic earlier, remember that we were adding water. So it may be a little fresh, and you don't want to re-add the cloves of garlic because now you're almost at the point where you're ready to consume the meal. So you add your garlic powder, and then you want to probably just taste the water. You don't have to, but I did taste the water. Here I'm just testing my meat to see if it's cooked. And don't forget to add some salt once more, guys. After I did that, as you can see, it's starting to look really good. Now, some persons prefer to have their stew peas this way, but I just think, you know, stew peas wouldn't be stew peas without some coconut milk. So I'm going to go ahead and add some coconut milk powder. This is what gives your stew peas that creamy look, that creamy taste. And allow your coconut milk powder to boil a little bit. I did add some fresh seasonings, you know, some chopped bell peppers, onions, and I did add a Scotch bonnet pepper. Yes, my pepper is cut. I know what I said about the pepper, but I did not leave this pepper in too long. If you're afraid or you might not have time to watch the meal, put a whole pepper in there, not a cut one. Now, those little dumplings you see in Jamaica, we call those spinners. So you basically add flour, a pinch of salt and water, and then you make a dough texture, and then you kind of roll them up, and then throw them in the pot. So this is how everything's looking. I'm gonna let it simmer so that the I guess the juice or the gravy can thicken a little bit. You don't necessarily have to cover your pot at this time. Now you're just looking for the dumplings to cook, and this is the pepper I was talking about, so I actually took it out eventually because I don't want my dish to get too spicy. Another tip you can look for, once you start smelling the pepper, it's probably time to take it out. So we're almost ready to eat. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some Maggie all-purpose. I'm adding these seasoning because I'm at that point where I don't need to add more water for simmering. We're actually getting ready to share the meal. So I added some Maggie all-purpose, season up. You can stir it around and then add another seasoning. I don't really care. I did add some black pepper as well, and I did go back and added more garlic powder. I love the taste of fresh garlic in my meals. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I did add some salt. Yes, guys, my salt is finishing. And I don't cook with a lot of salt. I guess, cook often. So that makes up for it. So you want to mix in your seasonings. Remember to test your dumplings if it's fully cooked. Once you did that, as you can see, my gravy starts to look really creamy. It's not very white like earlier. And I'm just going to give that a quick stir. Remember to check on your peppers, guys. Please do not leave your pepper in too long to the point where your dish is spicy. And I did serve this up with the white rice that I made earlier. This is how it's looking. If you guys made this video, let me know in the comment section, and on a scale of 1 to 10, let me know how easy it was for you. In Jamaica, we love stew peas with pigtail, and we love when there are other meats in there as well, like chicken foot or beef. So that's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.